bursting through a free shot, and there is the opening goal. McCabe steps up, and there it's number 2, chance to make it 3, and there it is, flicks it in, free header, and there is number 4, flicked on the second ball, and there is number 5, no mistake.
What is happening, fellow Bairns? Welcome to In the KM, one South Standers point of view on all things navy blue. I am your host Ray, and in today's video we are going to be previewing the match against Airdrieonians, Airdrie United, Clydebank. If I forgot anybody, is that all the names that they're known by? It's like they've got like 1,000 names. Is that everyone? Cool. I also just want to run through as well how both teams are shaping up, how things are looking going into this match as well on Saturday. First off, probably nobody watching this video anyway. Well, in that case then, I just want to say hi to my one little fan out there. Hello Kobe, my Doug. In all seriousness though, a big huge thank you to those that watched my first video. I know it was rough as toast. It was just something where when I created the video I just really wanted to get it out there. I wanted to get all my thoughts off my chest. So the editing was crap, the lighting, everything about it was crap, but everything I said was meant, it was off of the heart. So thank you very much for all the kind words that everybody said. It's blew me away, genuinely. Thank you so much, all of yous. So in terms of the intro that you've just watched there, that will evoke some emotions. I'm fully aware of that. As you know, I'm a more recent convert, so I didn't experience that match firsthand. I kept an eye on it. I remember seeing it at the time and I was like, fuck me man, that is a bad result. I can't even begin to imagine the emotions that must have been going through everybody's heads at half time. Half of yous were probably away back to your buses, the other half of yous were probably between being shell shocked and not saying a word, arguing amongst yourselves. It must have been absolutely hellish. I know what this match on Saturday represents. I know that in terms of the revenge checklist, Airdrie were right at the very, very top next to Dunfermline, who just kept getting one over us. Airdrie have quite a lot of revenge that we've got to dish out. The last year, I could almost compare it to like a Rocky montage, genuinely, where, you know, we've been bursting our arses to get out of that league because there's people who need to be put in their place, and Airdrie are absolutely up there. I know everybody is probably still hurting about that result going into this. I appreciate what this stadium signifies, genuinely. The thing to bear in mind though is that as much as all of us as fans are hurting going into this match, there's still quite a lot of players surviving in this squad that are still here, that played in that match. They'll be as desperate as anybody to put that right. I don't think that's on the back of their heads as well. Of course it has to be. John McGlynn as well. I mean, it's easy to forget with how well things have been over the last year, but after that game I wouldn't be surprised if like half the fan base wouldn't have batted an eyelid if McGlynn had been handed his jotters, and that would have been that. One thing that you've got to say just as a sidebar to that is that I can't praise the board. Jamie Swinney, Kenny Jameson, Gordon, God rest his soul, they all had calmer heads when a knee-jerk reaction to sack McGlynn probably would have been the more popular choice. And wow, what a year it's actually been. Nobody could have even begun to imagine how much this team has turned around since that debacle at the Excelsior Stadium, or the Albert Bartlett Stadium, or whatever the hell it's called now. The stadium's got more names than the club. Things have turned around massively since then. Can he praise the board enough for this, genuinely? What a masterstroke, sitting down and letting calmer heads prevail. I wouldn't be surprised if that absolute pasting that we got was a catalyst to a lot of players maybe looking themselves in the mirror and realising what was at stake. Part-time football looming. These players know that that's got to have been something that motivated them last season. It has to be. So what I wanted to say as well is that when we go into this game on Saturday, you know, thinking of that intro clip as well, all the goals that we lost that day, we should go into this game angry. We should go into this game pissed off. We should be fired up because we've got something to prove against Airdrieonians. We've got something to prove against Clydebank. We need to go in there and show them that we don't fear anybody at this level. We're not scared of any teams that we play at this level. I'm certainly not scared of any of the teams that we play at this level. We should go into these games feeling confident. We've got one of the best squads in the league. Stop me when I'm telling lies. We've got one of the best managers in the league. Stop me when I'm telling lies. We've got the best fan base in the league. Stop me when I'm telling lies. And on our day in this league, we can beat anybody everybody that's put in front of us, stop me when I'm telling lies. So, nothing to fear going into this game on Saturday, Bairns. We can absolutely win this game. On to some Falkirk news before we have a look into how Airdrie are shaping up going into this match. So, as you may have already been aware, Gaffer's recovered from his hip replacement surgery and he was back taking training earlier today, albeit with the aid of a couple of sticks. That's good. He also won Manager of the Month as well. Fully deserved, I must say. Some other things in terms of the fixtures. So the Livingston game at home, which was originally due to take place the same weekend as the Celtic match on the 21st of this month, that's been rescheduled for Tuesday the 8th of October. That reminds me, have I got my annual leave in for that day? Partick Thistle away has been rescheduled as well. Initially that was going to be on Tuesday the 29th of October. That's been rescheduled to the 12th of October, which was a free weekend that was already earmarked for the SPFL Trust Trophy, which we ain't in anymore. I've had a look and can't find any updates yet on Spencer and Morrison. If you recall, Spencer pulled out of the game against Steny at the last second. I believe it was to do with his knee. It was like a tweak or something like that. But Smudger did say after the game that it wasn't anything serious and that he expected Brad Spencer to be back in training today or tomorrow. When it comes to Morrison as well, it was a virus that was keeping him out. Don't know exactly where we're at with that. I'd like to think he would be better at this point, but the question is how fit he is, because he was already struggling a little bit earlier on with some sort of niggle. I don't know what it was, but we could all see that Morrison's no really looked fully himself so far this season. He's just, for some reason, he's no taking players on the way he was. He's tracking back a lot, he's cutting back and then passing the ball. I don't know what's up with him at the moment. Maybe it's a fitness thing, maybe he is carrying a knot. Hopefully the time he's spent off recuperating, maybe he'll come back, do what he does best. So next thing as well that I was looking into, and thanks everybody that replied to my post about this on the COYB on Facebook there, question about what happens with Hendo's red card. So there was a little bit of confusion with this, because it used to be that red cards would carry over across all domestic competitions, right? But supposedly it's now changed where they don't carry over from specific domestic competition anymore. I don't know. So supposedly it will be a 2-match ban that he'll get, 'cause it's a straight red, but it's only going to apply to the Trust Trophy. So that means he will be available on Saturday, which is fantastic news, by the way. And if you recall as well, as somebody else also pointed out, Shanley, when he got sent off for his Lukang flying kick against Stephen Kingsley, welcome back to Falkirk, big man, he still came off the bench against Partick Thistle the following week. So yeah, it doesn't look like they carry over. Fantastic news, because I don't know about any of yous, and please tell me in the comments below if yous feel differently, but I really want the team to stay settled, especially in defence. Whilst if Hendo was to come out of the team, we could shuffle along. We could put Mackie into left centre back, or you could even move Adams into left centre back and then bring Yates back in the right, or bring McCann back on the left. But this defence is really settled. I don't really want any tampering with that, and as you all know anyway, John McGlynn isn't really the type to be messing around with the formula. He tends to stick with a trusted 11 where available. So we should realistically, unless anything changes between now and Saturday, and touch wood obviously, we should be looking at the back four, which is pretty settled at this point: Mackie, Hendo, Call, and then Adams. So hopefully that's what we'll be looking at for Saturday. Speaking of Saturdays, it's really important as well that we go into this match, put last Saturday behind us. Bad day at the office, created hundreds of chances, just couldn't score. It's just one of the days. If there's any of yous watching that are Football Manager players, yous will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, that sometimes there's just matches where when you're playing that game and it feels like you can change all the tactics you want, you can bring on whatever subs you want, doesn't matter, you're no going to win this game. It's just no going to be your day that day. And that's how we all felt the second that penalty, the second that happened.
Big men are up from the back.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, Jeezy peeps, man.
I turned to my missus and said, we're not winning this. You just knew the way it was going. They say football's a really unpredictable sport, and in a lot of times it is, but sometimes when you've watched a lot of football, sometimes you just know how things are going. I started getting the fear during that game, and it was the exact same fear that I got against Bonnyrigg Rose. It was the exact same fear that I got against TNS as well. Sometimes you just know we are probably not going to win this match, and that's just what happened, and it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that particular game. It was a wee bit disappointing, but it's the least important fixture that in terms of the competitions it is. And if we can lose a game in the least important fixture and it galvanises the team and refocuses us and gets us back to winning games, you take that all day long. Aye, winning that trophy is worth what, 100 grand, which, you know, we're not in a position to turn down 100 grand. No. But at the same time, it's no that massive. On to the next bit of information. So what happens with Brad Spencer? So if he is fit to play the game on Saturday, and again, this is something else that I want some engagement in the comments about. Let me know your thoughts on this. If Brad Spencer is fit, would you chuck him in for the start? Because the thing is, if he's no trained until today or possibly even tomorrow, he's going to have lost a wee bit of fitness. For me though, I would be playing him for the start all day long. I'm a firm believer in you play your strongest 11, win the game, and then you can make subs. What you don't want to do, you don't want to be starting with a weaker team and then when you're chasing games, you're bringing on your best players. Nah, win the game, and if we get to a point in the match where we're comfortable, take Brad off and bring on McKenna or somebody else. We can do that when we're winning. Keep Brad playing. If he's fit, he has to start, and that leads on to the next question as well with regards to Callum Morrison. So I know that there's been a bit of discourse about where Morrison fits in now, and there's an argument that Calvin Miller and Ethan Ross and Alfredo Aguiman all deserve their places, and absolutely they do. As I mentioned earlier, we're not seeing the best version of Callum Morrison at the moment, and I think it's really important that people remember that this isn't the best version of him. He's no been in the best of form. I mean, I think he scored one goal from open play, a couple of penalties. He's no been at his best form. For me, again, I would still be starting the best players. So as harsh as it is, that if Morrison is fully fit, probably would start him against Clydebank on Saturday. But if McGlynn does go with playing Ross again on the left and having Miller on the right as an inverted winger, I wouldn't be against it. You know, I think you can make arguments for every single player that plays in these positions to play. You know, Alfie's done nothing wrong. He was so unlucky not to score on Saturday, and he played brilliantly against Morton, was rightfully the hero. He doesn't deserve to lose his place either, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit of a Callum Morrison fanboy. I don't know. So on to some Airdrie news. So how are they shaping up going into this game? Well, I can tell you that unfortunately they are no getting scudded anymore the way they used to. I'd love to sit here and tell you that they're still getting pumped 5-0 and 6-1 by the likes of Ayr and Dundee, but that's not the case anymore. Nah. They've steadied the ship a wee bit. So after those two absolute horsins, they lost 2-0 to Queen's Park at home, which was pretty funny, and then they managed to come back from 2-0 down against Accies and rescue a 2-2 draw, also funny. And then they had their most recent game, which was against Queen of the South in the SPFL Trust Trophy. So they won 3-0 against Queen of the South. I had a wee look into that match, I had a wee watch of it, and yeah, watching them, it's interesting because they play some decent football. I don't understand why they're struggling. I would actually say that they play football that isn't too dissimilar to how we play it. Build from the back, they like to get the ball out wide, they like to move the ball quickly, they're good on the counter as well. It's strange that they're struggling a wee bit so far this season. I think that it might be a combination of a few things. It might be down to the fact that whilst last season they were a massive surprise package, I think a lot of teams have figured out how they play, and that's just something that happens. Rhys McCabe's still a good manager, of course he is, but I think teams have maybe figured out how to play against them, be compact, be tight, and just let them pass the ball about in front of you. They've also lost a few key players as well, which hasn't helped, but they've still got a couple of new guys like Chris Mockery, who onto the Queen of the South, he played pretty good in that match. They took the lead early on. Ben Wilson clips a ball into the box and Adam Fizzell gets a free header, so their captain scores, makes it 1-0. Bit of poor defending in for Cooney the South, to be fair. I'd like to think that we would defend a situation like that a bit better, but if you remember the Morton game, so 2-0 around the hour mark, ball's flashed out wide by Fazell and taken by Chris Mockery, who goes past two players and cutting in and slots the ball into the bottom corner of the net there. Great play, Morrison-esque, dare I say. If Morrison had done something like that, we would all be going absolutely mental. So 3-0, it's just a ball launched over the top from defence, and it's collected by Lewis McGregor, who races through on goal, and he hits a shot which Jay Hogarth, twin of Nicky, he makes himself big. He manages to save it, but the rebound just falls right at McGregor's feet, and he's got an easy task. Makes it 3-0, and Airdrie get a bit of a confidence boost, to be honest, going into the match against us on Saturday. So again, you've got to take into perspective the level opposition. So they are playing a weaker team, a good bit weaker than what we will be. We'll be a much sterner test for them. But at the same time, you give me the option between winning against a weaker team and losing to a weaker team. I'll take winning every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But in terms of what I think is going to happen, do you know what, fellow Bairns? I'm going to back the team. I'm going to back the team big, right? I'm going to say we are going to banish the memory of that absolute pasting. We're going to win against Airdrie / Clydebank. We'll do it. I'm going to say 2-0. I think we will win. I'm confident that we'll turn around the game last weekend. I know a lot of these players are still hurting for that last time we were at this stadium. They'll want to put it right just as much as we want to see them put it right. They'll be playing with fire in their bellies. They will want to win this game big time. Make no mistake about it, fellow Bairns. This is a big one on Saturday, and we will win this game. I feel confident, even at the risk of me being made into a meme on their Pie and Bovril page or whatever. I think we're going to win. What do you think? I'll put it over to you now. Let me know again in the comments what you think is going to happen. And just on that as well, if you could possibly just please a wee like and a subscribe as well. We share the channel with any fellow Falkirk supporters that are maybe watching the videos. Be greatly appreciated, genuinely. So nothing else to do now, but wish you all a happy Saturday, and if you're going to the game, maybe I'll see you. Be sure to say hello if you're there. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching my video this evening. Really appreciate it, and on Bairns.